You gotta. I mean, you
The
talk about
radars he was on were smoke and mirrors to get a team to do what they did, to push other players back that they wanted.
San Fran highway robbery of Ryan Pace, one spot trade up 4 draft picks.
Yep.
I mean, it happens every year, and most GMs don't bite. And a young Ryan Pace took the worm, and a lot of teams that year.
He took the line, the hook, and you had to let the fish die in the water.
It honestly, that was the first time where we saw a movie scenario play out in real life. That was the draft day, and I want Putman too, just because I goddamn want him.
So the thing is, I can't first and second year quarterbacks in the NFL. I know he only started 1 year in college, but you look at first and second, like I can throw college starts out the window because I've seen plenty of quarterbacks who have played backup roles in college come in the NFL. Like, look at Brady. Brady, perfect example. He was on and off in Michigan. They sat him, started him, sat him, started him, sat him, started. Like, he was screwed with in Michigan. Yep. 6th round, came in. Look what he's done. So, my thing is Lamar Jackson, second-year QB.
Yes, but you know what? OC. When it comes to Brady gets a pass, too, because of that. Because, like
in
Rodgers
college, he was screwed with. That's my point.
No. Well, let me finish. Rodgers got to sit for 3 years, but Brady had 7 years of being told what the defensive front and play was because of Spygate to help him develop.
Oh.
He would have never done it. So.
Okay.
When I am taking a calculus test and I've got the syllabus, it makes me look like a freaking rocket scientist, okay? And by the time the teacher finds it out, I've already memorized all the answers and I already know calculus, so
done with that. Anyways, college.
You had to bring that name up, didn't you? You had to mention Voldemort. That's your fault. You brought Voldemort up.
All I'm saying is the college days is using an example because other QBs have been screwed with in college or haven't had the starts.
Bad example.
No, in college, Michigan, he was always relied on as a safety blanket to get the job done, but he was never allowed to start during the regular season of college. I'm sorry.
All right. We got
No. The excuse for Mitch is over, in my opinion. 2nd overall pick, he needs to produce now. It's 3rd year, so it's his 4th year of starting. Lamar Jackson only has 1 more year of starting in college, and he's a 2nd-year QB, and now he's a leading vote getter for MVP this year.
Yeah, but look how long it took Alex Smith to be anything good.
That's because the 49ers couldn't put shit around him for 3 or 4 years, too.
He had to go elsewhere to be any good.
Well, no, he got forced out.
But still, he had to go.
I agree.
He had to be somewhere else to be any good.
No, I fully agree.
Any thoughts on this one there, Julius?
Wouldn't it be cool if Alex Smith came back and had?
They're talking about it next year.
Led the Redskins to the playoffs, and
no,
it'd be such a cool story.
No,
why'd you say no?
Because I hate the Redskins. I can't stand them.
Hold on. Why do you hate the Redskins? It's a non-divisional opponent.
Nope. He's a great story. Nope.
Okay, so you must hate Joe Theismann.
Oh, Joe Theismann?
He's Thievesman, all right?
His given name is Thiesman. He changed it for Heisman Trophy.
Okay, yes. All right, JB, here we go.
It's true. I digress.
I know it's true. You are absolutely right. That is an actual fact, people. JB is correct. We got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, JB. With the early success of Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, do you feel your team's head coach is under more pressure to win now? And then the second part of that, would you keep your head coach for next season or move on?
He's always going to be under pressure to win now. And I've said this before. If Mike Zimmer ever won a Super Bowl, he'd be the greatest coach in Viking history. And that says a lot because Bud Grant was top level, but he never got the job finished. I'm not ready to move on from Zim. I don't know. I have an affinity to this guy. I like who he is. I like how he handles himself. I like how he handles this team. People are ripping on him now because the defense isn't doing as well. Everybody's looking for that. They're looking for something, but Mike Zimmer has done pretty well with the cast he's been given. They won 12 games with Case Keenum at quarterback. Granted, the schedule that year was like Clemson soft, that schedule. But they still won 12 games with a third string quarterback. I think he's overachieved, and people won't believe that, but I think he's overachieved with what he's been given, at least on the offensive side. And now he's starting to figure it out. He's starting to evolve. And at his age, that's hard to get these coaches to do that. But he's finally starting to evolve. He was the guy who said, we got to run more, They started to run more, and it wasn't working out. So he evolved, and he's doing it on the spot. I mean, look at how different this offense has been since that loss to the Bears. When they went, they've started to develop things. He's starting to listen. They're getting better. So do I want Mike Zimmer to go? Only on his terms. I'm not ready to give up on Mike Zimmer. And if somebody is ready to give up, my question is, of course, now Ron Rivera is available, but Ron Rivera is not much different the way he coaches.
Bear roots.
Yeah, I'll tell you, don't be surprised if the Cowboys take him either.
True.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Julius. Is he still awake? Yes.
I am alive.
All right. Do you feel like Patricia's under a lot of pressure, and would you keep him next year? I think we know your answer, but I want to hear you say it.
I already know his answer.
Do I think Patricia is under pressure? I don't know. I don't know if
He
he's
looks so
under
calm
any
for
pressure at all. He might just be dancing and skipping in fields of lilies. Listen, like they say, hey, I don't know if they have a guaranteed third year, guaranteed fourth year. I don't know if Matt Patricia might be the owner of the Lions. Now, do I want to see him back next year? It would. He's failed so miserably. Like, some guys, you want to be like, okay, injuries. He's only had 2 years to build his system. No. The reason the Lions are so bad is 95% is because of our defense. Our historically bad defense. I don't care who he hires, Paul Pasqualoni, some guy off the street in overalls, to say that he's a defensive coordinator. No, that's Matt Patricia's defense. That defense that gets shredded every week by Trubisky's and by every running back you can name, and just gushing points out, is Matt Patricia's. So, like, he does not deserve to come back another year. He just doesn't. But I don't know if he's under any pressure at all, and I would not be surprised at all if he's back. Even if we lose the rest of our games by 30 points each, he's still likely to be the Lions coach next year. Bob Quinn, GM 2.
All right, I'm going to jump in here and play the Bears again. Definitely believe Nagy is in a lot of pressure. I think he shows the pressure anymore when he's doing press conferences just by his overall I mean, last year the guy was Mr.
Press conferences
yeah,
no more.
He was like Mr. Cool, Mr. Calm, like Mr. All Swagger last year, and this year, like, he's like 3 marbles short of making Adam Gase look sane in press conferences. I mean, he has said some loony things, done some loony stuff. I don't think he has a beat on what the hell he's trying to do anymore offensively. The offense just it looks erratic at best most weeks, and it affects his young quarterback. A guy that got hired under the premises that he could take their invested quarterback that they had so much in because it depended on what the GM did around him. Like, there was a timetable of 3 years put on this team when Pace went and traded for Khalil Mack, paid Goldman, paid Hicks, paid to get Burton, paid to get Allen Robinson. Like, when they made moves, that year after drafting Mitch and brought in Nagy, it was under a timetable. Nagy's not doing it. You cannot afford, in my opinion, with the way the cap is going to come in next year, you better start doing something, or it's so. I don't think Nagy should be back. If what I just said about Mitch Trubisky, you don't bring him back. Look, the way this question's formulated, Matt LaFleur has proven it can be done. All right. Shanahan's proven it can be done. Shanahan was winning games with an undrafted guy that broke Brett Favre's records at Southern Miss last year. Like, he's proven that offense can be done. It just needs, it needs a decent quarterback that's not, probably going to be in the streets most of the time. McVay has proven it can be done. So I think you with the way their roster's built, the way the cap is designed, and the amount of time they have, I don't believe this franchise can wait on Nagy to try to figure it out when he's regressing. Like, their offense isn't getting better. Their team didn't get better. It took a step back from the beginning of the season to where it is now. To me, looking at it, I don't know how the Bears fans would actually feel, but I don't think Nagy's going to be back unless there's some miracle, which I don't see happening. I don't think you can wait on him and hope that he makes, because if you don't, Pace is going to lose his job. Trubisky's gone. They're going to have to blow up that roster much like the Ravens did, just to be able to sign the next draft class and such. It is not good if they don't win and justify the amount of money they've invested in the moves they've made.
So who takes over in Chicago then?
I think they're going to go with they would stick with the trend with the next, whoever the next hot young guys. And I don't think it's necessarily a college coach. I think it's proven that it's just these guys that have 10, 15 years experience in coaching. I think a lot of them offensively have proven
Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, like Stefanski, I think enough of them have proven, even if they've only got 1 year of calling plays, like as long as there's like the thing people forget about Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan and McVay and LaFleur, they had 10 years plus in professional football coaching on some level on the staff. It wasn't like they just came off the streets, got a coaching job last year and then were a head coach. Like, they were on a staff learning how coaching was supposed to be done. Yes, maybe it was a little early, but it's not like these guys didn't know how coaching was or weren't like down and with how staffs were put together. They were on an actual professional NFL staff for a decade or more in some aspect, working their way up and learning how the NFL goes. So I think you can throw all this, you need a certain amount of play calling years and a certain amount of I think that kind of crap is being proven a lot, like running quarterbacks can't be used in the NFL and spread systems can't be used. That's a fallacy. It's to what degree are you going to go to and how much of that can be done before it doesn't work, I think is the reality now.
I think
don't know, but yes, Stefanski's a good answer.
Well, I think Stefanski fits because he has been with the Vikings for a long time. Actually, Zim blocked him from interviewing for a head coaching job. But he's been around long enough, and he's still young enough where he's not set in his ways, where he's kind of can involve with the game. So I actually think I'd be surprised if he doesn't get an offer after the season to be a head coach somewhere. Or at least an interview.
All right, Dave, go ahead, bud.
Okay, I've got multiple views on this. One, I don't blame Nagy at all. You want to know why? Perfect example. Go look at his play. They have pictures of his playbook sheet they put out a couple weeks ago from last year when he had his offense, of his play card sheet. Both
the one
sides.
With the upside down wording on it?
It was filled to the max. There was every play available. This year, Mitch still doesn't get the offense, so he had to dumb it down. Half of his freaking play card sheet on the back was empty. Yep. He had to cut down his playbook sheet halfway, guys. So to me, if you have a quarterback that cannot function in NFL offense, who was drafted second overall, That's a problem. Then you have a GM who's backing